A Limerick by Thomas Moore. The time I've lost in wooing, in watching and pursuing, the light that lies in women's eyes has been my heart's undoing. Aww, that one was cute. 4 out of 5 stars, Thomas Moore. Hello everybody and welcome to Noise in a Book. Today I'm going to be doing my review for A History of Rome Volume 1 by Theodor Mommsen. I really liked this cover. Paint splatter on this row of books. You can't really see how smooth it is, but it's very smooth. It almost feels like if you've ever felt stone paper made of rocks, it kind of feels like that, and I've always loved that feeling. I had a really hard time trying to figure out what I was going to rate this book and how I was going to talk about this book. What I normally rate books by, you're looking at world building and character building, and this is a textbook. It doesn't really have any of that. It is literally the history of Rome. And as a textbook, it's really good. I always found textbooks to be very boring. This has its moments. The first volume is made up of book 1 and the first part of book 2. And this book covers the very beginnings of Rome from about 750 BC until about 300 BC is all in this book. Volume 2 jumps back. The first book pretty much covers it's a bunch of facts about what happened before they came up with the idea for a republic. The kings that ruled and the art that was going on and their system of measurements and the language that they used and their interactions with the people around them and how much influence Rome had from Greece. And then the second book gets more into the plebeian revolts and why they set up a republic, but it was still a republic with a dictatorship. At the end of the day, this is still a textbook. But I am really glad I read this book. Is every once in a while, Theodor Mommsen's passion for his subject leaks through, and you get these absolutely fantastic quotes. I have notebooks now with just little paragraph excerpts. He is talking about how the Romans built these giant walls, and it was one of the reasons very early on that they were kind of kept to themselves and formed their own society and their own civilization is because they were very withdrawn. They all kind of kept themselves. Portions of wall as high as the walls of Alatri and Ferentino, built of large square-hewn blocks of tuffo in courses of unequal height, emerging as it were from the tomb to testify to the might of an epoch, whose buildings subsist imperishably in these walls of rock, and whose intellectual achievements will continue to exercise an influence more lasting than even these. They built these walls around their cities that we can still go see these stones today, but there are other things about the Roman civilization that last well into today. There is this feeling of history repeats itself and we need to learn from the past. There's also these beautiful moments where it really feels like Mommsen is trying to reach out to the reader and say, no, there are some really amazing things about this civilization that everyone should know and everyone should learn about. So I ended up deciding to give this book 3 out of 5 stars because it does do its job very well. It's supposed to be a teaching tool, and Mommsen does a good job of, at varying degrees, reaching out and trying to invoke passion in the reader and not just shoving a bunch of facts into their head. But I am designating it a skip it. Based on what I understand and the kind of comments I get on BookTube and the videos I see on BookTube, this isn't the kind of book that people are looking for when they're looking for a recommendation. Unless you love the history of Rome, unless you are really fascinated by Rome as a civilization. Thank you so much for reading and have a great day. I would like to know what you guys kind of think about reading books for their difficulty level rather than just for enjoyment. Is there anyone out there who is really interested in that? I noticed that, like, there are people that are more into one genre over another, but for the most part it seems like that's just a personal preference. Some people prefer classics to young adults. Some people prefer contemporary to nonfiction. Some people prefer romance to westerns. Like, that just seems to be a general to each his own thing. Where do you guys stand on the whole idea of struggle reading and challenge reading and That kind of thing. And if you do like challenging yourself as a reader, what kind of books have you been reading lately? I would like to know. And also, how do you get through them? How do you keep yourself interested? Because it's been a little bit of a struggle. I've had to take breaks and read other books and do other things, and I'm kind of grateful that I'm doing this whole short story, poetry, essay, reading shorter fiction thing, because otherwise I'd think it'd be a lot harder for me to get through History of Rome if there weren't these other things I could read about. Sorry it took so long! I am reading volume 2 right now. I'm hoping to have it done in the next few days because April's ending very quickly, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I guess we'll see.